Poco a poco, little by little. This is my new mindfulness blog. My name is John Doherty. I'm coming to you now from El Campeo, a little town 20 minutes north of Alicante in Spain. It's the 12th of February 2018 and it's 12 degrees here, cold for the area, but it's the winter time. So I'd like to invite you to participate, or in any way you like, in my new blog called Poco a Poco. I'm learning Spanish at the moment, and every time I practice my Spanish with the locals and I can't find a word or I'm missing something to say, I tell them I apologize, I'm just learning, and they just say to me, Poco a poco, little by little. So I woke up last night. I have 3 small kids which keep me up at night sometimes, but I woke up last night with the idea of poco a poco, little by little, and how I could use that idea and offer it to you too as a way of bringing about positive change in our lives. So this is a mindfulness teaching. I'm an interspiritual mindfulness teacher and trainer. The interspiritual mindfulness is one that is very similar to normal mindfulness, stress relief and so on, but also acknowledging the importance of our connection to oneness and whatever language you use for that. So change can be challenging for people, particularly positive, healthy change in our lives. I know myself, I have this image in my head, I have these ideas about what I'd like to do or what I know is good for me, but I don't always follow through. So, I wake up some days and go, oh yeah, I'd love to get down to the gym now, and I'm going to start a yoga class, and I'm going to start eat more healthily, lose some weight, get my energy back up, feel better in myself. And normally, people do these things when they've had a health scare, which is a good motivator, or it's the new year and it's like, okay, I need to make changes. And sometimes we're good at putting these into operation for a couple of weeks or even a couple of days, and then they fall by the wayside. And it's true for myself, as I'm sure it is for you. So these videos aren't for you if you're already perfectly fit and healthy and well, and you have a really good diet and healthy diet and good exercise regime, and your energy is really strong and resilient. Although, we're also going to talk about psychological energy being resilient too. But one supports the other very much. So vital energy and psychological energy very much are intertwined. So our vital energy is our fitness, our physical fitness, our energy levels to do things. And then our psychological energy is our resilience and our positivity, our sense of well-being. So we want to increase both sides of ourselves. And even maybe towards the end of this series, we'll introduce maybe a third area, our interspiritual energy. But we'll leave that for now. So, Poco a poco, when I woke up this morning, instead of going, okay, I need to do this, I want to change this, I need to do that, and then feeling, as often is the case, feeling overwhelmed by all these big changes I need to make, and not having then the motivation to follow through, I thought to myself, what is the smallest thing I could change right now? What is the smallest thing I could change? The smallest thing. Not a big thing, but just one tiny, tiny thing for this week. And the way I hope to structure this program is that each week we would make a change, and we would continue to build on the previous weeks, so that by the end of the year, and we have a whole year to do it, so by the end of the year we may have achieved something really substantial within ourselves. But right now, at this beginning phase, just what is the smallest thing I could change this week? And I decided, okay, this week I'm going to, for myself, and it's different for you, so you have to find what it is for you. But this week for me, I'm going to stop drinking coffee because I find that the caffeine, I love coffee, I'm sure lots of people do, it's amazing fuel for getting us going, but I find the caffeine tends to build up in my brain over weeks. And I also find that I get some headaches if I've got too much caffeine, and I crash a lot after the coffee. So, I've noticed that, and I've decided, right, instead of having coffee, I'm going to have tea. So I'm still having something with caffeine, but it doesn't have the same effect. It has a more leveling effect for me and my energy. I've noticed that. Mind you, this morning my wife had coffee. I could smell the coffee and I really wanted it. The craving was there. But the change was small enough that I was able to resist and make myself a cup of tea. So it has to be, whatever change you're going to make to start with, has to be small enough that you can resist it. Otherwise, there's no point. So small enough that you can resist it and have something else perhaps that's healthier, a little bit healthier. So for this week, I'm not drinking coffee. That's the small change I want to make. This is a mindfulness practice because I notice myself every time now wanting the coffee, and once I'm aware of that, I can have some tea, or I can let the longing or the desiring for the coffee go. And I'm also noticing as the week goes on, I'll be observing myself to see how not having coffee influences my energy. I find obviously first thing in the morning I'm a little slower now today than I normally am after my coffee hit. I'm more of a zombie. But my hope is that as the week goes on, my energy will start to rise a little bit more in the mornings, and it doesn't need the strong coffee to get me over that kind of threshold. So, welcome to Poco a Poco, little by little. And in this blog now for the next year, every week I'm going to be offering a new video every week to motivate myself and hopefully you. I'd love if you join me in any way you'd like by leaving a comment about what you're going to let go of or add in a positive way to your own life, and something small. And this program, as I said earlier, it's not for people who are highly successful in their programs and in their discipline. This is for people who aren't. Like myself, we all fall off the wagon in so many ways. And we can blame it on so many things, and that's fine. For me, I have 3 small children. I've just moved to Spain 9 months ago, so I'm exhausted a lot of the time. And it's easy then, when the tiredness comes in, to let the resilience and the discipline go. So we're into the fridge. I notice when I'm really tired, I'm eating more unhealthily. I'm not exercising as much. I'm not keeping my fitness levels up. And then all of a sudden, what happens, we fall below this caring threshold. Let's call it a caring threshold. When my vital energy falls enough, emotionally, my psychological energy falls, but I don't care. I'm just really tired, and I need, somebody to rescue me, some sort of resuscitation almost. And that's a slippery slope, because if I keep going down into that kind of burnout place, the negativity can come in, it affects my positive sense of connection to people and my relationships. I'm angrier and grumpier a lot more. And really it's just not a good place to be. And it can also lead down into the slippery slope where we go to the dark side. And when we talk about going to the dark side, is where it can trigger, going down into that place can trigger maybe on unfulfilled needs from childhood and from earlier stages in our lives, perhaps difficult times, that can really get a hold of us and bring us into addiction and bring us into depression and bring us into states of anxiety, can bring us into harming, self-harming, can bring us into harming others. There's a lot of mental health places we can end up in by not staying resilient. So what I'm offering in this program at a deeper level perhaps is a very simple way, simple and small way of beginning to crawl perhaps our way back up from the basement of our house, of our being, into connection again, into ourselves, into a connectedness that is more positive, has more energy, and is more loving to ourselves and others, where the quality of our lives is more loving. So thank you for listening. If you did today, if you'd like to write a comment about anything at all, or questions, I'd love any sort of engagement, and I'll be posting again next week.